catch up a little bit with Ezrex and Joshi. Ezrex, are you excited about this immaculate mac and cheese, four cheese,
Yes, I
mac and
am.
cheese thing happening?
Yes, I am. I love mac and cheese, you know, especially if you're
Oh.
not doing it from a box, if you're not just doing Kraft mac and cheese, if you're making your own, if you have especially your own cheese sauce, let me at it, man. Let me at it. Bradley, please, please, please. Thanksgiving, you're invited.
I can't wait for the immaculate and cheese. It's gonna be a good time.
Probably knowing how to get to your heart, Ezrex, right away. You were spot on knowing with who you wanted at the Thanksgiving dinner, that's for sure. But I mean, Bradley and the rest of the team definitely feeling good. You heard the words. Good luck, everyone else heading into summer. And with the games, I have to agree with him, Joshi.
They've been looking very, very strong thus far. Now, was today the cleanest performance we've seen from them? No, but I imagine that we will continue to see them tighten up all the screws, and I love the aggression that we're seeing coming out from Team Liquid. Like, last season, we knew that they were very controlled, they like to take control of the map, they were a very macro-oriented team, but like Spawn and Bradley and Ayla have all said in the past, this is the season that they fight, and they do it over and over, and they're consistently coming out on top.
Yeah, it was a great way. That's the 4 games, 4 wins under their belt. But it's time to go on into our next matchup. We've seen a lot of 2-0 so far. And at this point, it's going to be Golden Guardians Academy going up against CLG to see if this 2-0 trend continues or if we're going to have a 1-1 series on our hands. Golden Guardian roster, this should be fun. We did get to see them yesterday here, Deserex.
Yeah, they got speedrun.
Okay, I think I had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. We're back.
A little
We're back
delay. We're here.
We're back,
Okay,
we're back,
we're
we're good
here.
now. Okay, okay,
We
okay.
need you here. We need you here, man. Come on. Let's talk
All right,
Golden
all right.
Guardians.
All right. If we're talking Golden Guardians, it's still hard to give a good read on them because they don't have their mid laner. They still have Choose in the mid lane. So it is going to be a rough week for them. You know, they started off against TLA yesterday, which didn't go too well, but they're going against another team who had subpar results in their first day, and that is going to be CLG. So Golden Guardians, you know, it's time to try and get those knots out and get ready to prepare for this because we still have Array, we still have Chime, we still have a lot of fire on this team.
Yeah, and at this point too, I feel like Academy has been looking so closely at these supports. This is not going to be a difference heading into this matchup. Chime has definitely been someone that we've been keeping an eye on here, Joshi, and why is that?
I mean, the biggest thing is his adaptability. He always goes forward. He knows who he needs to keep safe during all these team fights, and he also creates a lot of pressure on the map, right? Something that both he and Breezy were known for in the previous split, were their ability to move around the map, their ability to create pressure and make sure that they were moving with their jungler to not only try and win their lanes, but try and win the mid lane and the top lane as well. And we can see just how aggressive Chime can be. He really utilizes every single bit of his health bar in order to make sure that he can do the most he can.
And it's nice seeing him paired alongside Array, who is new to the scene. You know, Chime has quite a bit of experience when it does come to Academy, so I'm excited for that duo.
Yeah, well, now heading over to the roster of CLG, we talked about sub in, and then this is not going to be an exception here, Joshi. But talking about this roster as a whole and what we got to see yesterday, where are we keeping our eyes looking into this?
I mean, I feel like it's another support game, right? We've got a lot of strong supports suddenly playing in North America, which has not been true historically, right? We now have a lot of people who can really start to challenge, who can start to look really good in a lot of these fights. And Breezy is a little bit more focused on lane control than we not always see like Chime doing. He really values going for a lot of these early plays in order to make sure that his AD carry is as powerful as possible. And when push comes to shove, well, he's not necessarily going to be the same kind of guy who's always going really far forward. He will play those enchanters, he will keep his backline safe, and he understands that even as an enchanter, you're actually more of a main character than a lot of people realize. That you need to keep yourself safe as well, and so that's what I really like seeing about Breezy.
So much eyes on the support here, Deserex. This has been a pretty big focus in all of our games so far, and why is that?
Well, why is that? Support has just been having hands nowadays. You've been seeing what's been going on in these last couple of games. The bot lane is just always fighting, so supports, they got to bring the pain. We've been seeing the champions that come up, Tom Kench, Renata, Lulu. It's fight time for the bot lane.
Yeah, well, maybe not the only ones bringing the pain here, Joshi, because what about these tank tops that we have going on?
All right, now I do have to admit why this exists. The reason why this exists was we were having discussions and we were trying to figure out like what was going to be happening up in the top side, and somebody had written down that it was going to just be tank tops. And I read that as not like Ornn and Scion, but like the shirts. And so this is the first thing that comes to mind. We know that Concept loves playing his tank tops, maybe while wearing a tank top. He's got like Urgot, Wukong, Mundo, Singed. He just plays these really big, beefy boys. And while Jenkins doesn't play the same kind of really dedicated tanks, he also plays these big fighters, right? He's got the Aatrox that he's really well known for. You know that he's just going to be going for all of these big fights later on in the game. And so I feel like this really exemplifies the way that these two play.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to put something else into this, but I was not prepared for this picture. Whoever actually took this picture deserves some level of promotion, whoever edited this for us, but yeah. Concept is exciting to me because he is that tank top player, but the specific types of tanks that he does play, Mundo is something that's actually very close to my heart. I used to love playing that when I was much more active in League of Legends, and then Wukong, Urgot, as I said in yesterday, it's a very Alorum-esque type style of champion pool, and it's going to be interesting to see how it competes against Jenkins.
Yeah, I like to say that Concept was playing Wukong before it was cool, right before it got a ton of buffs. He was the one who was always bringing it to the forefront and really controlling a lot of the top lanes. Now that it's potentially the best champion in the game, it's really a buff to Concept whenever he's able to actually get it. Unfortunately, it's so contested, he doesn't get to play it as often.
Okay, I gotta back you up there for a second.
No, I'm gonna back you up there, okay?
Ooh.
This is where I'm gonna hop in, because I actually hear we have a champ select ready, so I can let you two continue that over in the champ select, but we are gonna toss to that so we can get a little closer to that game, and I'll catch up with you two later.
Bye, Sierra.
Bye, Sierra, and welcome to the second game of the day, the second series of the day, Golden Guardians Academy versus CLG Academy. Now, neither of these teams to get their first win just yet. As we said yesterday, it was nothing but 2-0s. You know, CLG, they did have a good attempt. I did like their bottom lane. Luger and Breezy were working okay together, but we didn't really see the pieces click for CLG Academy.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit tougher for CLG to kind of figure out what they were doing. They had one really long game that they played up against IMT. It went to 43:58, so nearly 44 minutes on the clock before it actually ends. But this time around, it is going to be them going up against Golden Guardians, who, you know, they look like a Freddy Fish speedrun. You just click through and you just get through it in like 20 minutes and the whole thing is done. So this is going to be a much better test for the Golden Guardians roster going against CLG, because both of these teams, as we've already identified yesterday, are playing with a lot of subs, are playing with a lot of new members on their teams, and this is not going to be the final form for either of them throughout the course of the split. Although, if you get a couple wins now, it's always very helpful towards getting towards those playoffs.
Golden Guardians Academy, ruthless when it comes to targeting Jenkins in these bans. GP banned away Kennen, Gwen on top of it. For CLG Academy, just going to target the jungle pool on this one for Acadian, taking away both the Lilia, which can flex around Talia and Senna. This does leave up that Wukong that's been a very popular B1 since this patch has dropped.
Yeah, it's a very good champion. I think it might be the best champion in the game right now for competitive, because it is so flexible, it is so good in both roles, and it will continue to be good. If you've already looked at 12-11 patch notes, they're the most placebo nerfs I've ever seen. So, like, this champion is going to be good next patch as well, don't worry about it. But, with that in mind, we now have to see what Jenkins is going to be playing into it. You don't not ban Wukong unless you have a plan against it. You know that Concept wants to play the champion, you need to have some prepared counter pick. And I'm curious what Jenkins plays, because these are the champions I tend to think about. The only other one that I really identify with Jenkins, or I guess there's Camille, but more than that is Aatrox.
I feel like we're stuck in a first pick loop now when it comes to certain meta, because Wukong's been led through and it usually gets responded to with a Viego over on the red side, but CLG are going to follow through even more as they grab the Lucian. Can flex over towards Triple. We've seen Triple play it yesterday. Can flex over to the bottom lane with Luger.
Yeah, you know, it's if you can't pick the Wukong, you can pick the champion that can become Wukong, right? It's the easiest way to actually just play the game out, is you have a Wukong on your team now as well. Anyway, with that said, we also have a couple of very strong potential bottom lanes coming through. The Callista and Renata, we saw that this has been played a couple of times. Carry and Smoothie, did not have success with it up against Spawn and JJ, but this is a very powerful bottom lane that CLG is hovering with the Lucian and the Nami. If you have a superstar AD carry in Luger, you need to make sure that he is looking as strong as possible, and you give him the potentially most dominant lane we've seen in League of Legends in several years.
For several years, this Lucian Nami has had a reign of terror on certain metas, but it's meeting something that is now starting to become a little bit more stock standard for the current meta, and that's this Kalista and Renata that has been going for these early skirmishes, early engages at level 1 and level 2.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of raw pressure they can put onto the game is kind of ridiculous. So we'll see if Array and Chime can step up. Now, we know one of the things about Array that I do like to point out is he's constantly looking to improve. And, you know, if any of the coaches in the LCS, they definitely know who he is because he has reached out to them and been like, hey, what do you think I need to work on? I want to play for your team. How can I do that? And so this is one of the things that he needs to be able to do, is show that he is taking all their advice and actually using it to take down one of the recent stars that has joined the LCS from the Turkish league in Luger. And so now you give him a very strong bottom lane, you pair him with Chime. We'll see if they can actually make that happen.
And you know, with Array, I had heard some other things around him when it came to the amateur space, that he was getting a little bit demotivated by not getting into Academy already. It almost feels like that would have been his last split if he didn't get into Academy just now. I'm happy to see he did get recognition, it did get picked up, as he is a very prominent, powerful force in the amateur scene now here in the Academy space. As we take a look at the bans that are going through, focusing the mid lane, taking away both the Lissandra and the Ahri, kind of prompts something to go towards LeBlanc. Meanwhile, TF and Swain for Gold Guardians.
Yeah, and we know that Array is coming in to kind of fill some relatively big shoes, right? Violet was one of the more hyped imports coming in earlier in the year, and also, like Stixay, the coach for Golden Guardians, had a fantastic performance while he was actually playing. So Array has some pretty big shoes to fill, and if he can start finding these early wins, then it's going to be fantastic for them. And going up against CLG, I feel like they're in a really rough spot because they're going up against a very dominant bottom lane. They're going to be getting outranged fairly heavily by this Azir, and we have to remember that Kalista is the only champion in the game where if you slow them, if you slow their movement speed, it is also an attack speed slow. So the fact that Nami just throws that out is probably going to build Imperial Mandate, makes Array's job very difficult to try and navigate some of these fights.
So now the pickup for Choose is going to be Victor. Now again, Choose is the sub. He did popularize Syndra over in Oceania, spent a lot of time over in the Oceanic scene. Forced to be a sub here while visa issues are sorted out. So we've been kind of figuring out what he likes to play, what he's looking to bring. And now it's time for the big top. Ornn, taken by Concept.
Yeah, that is a pretty big lock-in, right? Saying what they wanted to do, and there's the other reason why we got Jenkins coming through with the big old muscles. He's ready on the Aatrox. He's going for this fight, and this is something where they can really kind of strut their stuff. So both sides of the map are just setting up and gearing here for these big old team fights. We know that Jenkins had a lot of success. This was one of his most played champions while he was playing with Team Liquid Academy several years ago, because he would pair it with the way that Armeo always wanted to try and get these team fights started later in the game. He's got a good scaling roster, he's got the Lucian and the Azir who do plenty of damage, and if they can get that first reset for Viego, it could be all done and dusted.
I want to know what you think about this right now, Josh, because on blue side, it's starting to become standard to go Wukong, Kalista, Renata, and for me, it's exciting. That's a lot of fun stuff to see on the Rift. There's a lot of fun fights to see on the Rift with those specific kits, but I want to know to you, how do you feel about that?
I like all these champions. I feel like they always have a place in a meta where things are becoming very aggressive, and this is definitely what we're seeing when Team Liquid is pioneering in North America the way of just fighting. This is the kind of champions that are going to have a lot of success in that kind of environment. So with all the teams trying to echo that playstyle, all the teams trying to catch up, this is a good way to go about it. They're all very strong, they have a lot of tools, and they're very versatile. So I really like the direction the meta is currently headed.
I really do as well, as we are ready to hit the Rift now. Golden Guardians Academy versus CLG Academy, headed into game one right now with these compositions that we have. You know, I want to look over back to the top lane with Concept being on that tank. You know, there's been a lot of arguments that tanks are bad, but Ornn is one of those that have just shined through.
Yep, basically one of the only tanks that is kind of playable, right? He's just excessively tanky, But as we start going through into the bottom lane, we've been seeing this quite a bit. People go down through a ward, but Chime and Array, okay, they're going to be backing out immediately, not seeing the counter ward come through, so they know there's no opportunity for a potential fight. They would be outnumbered. So, at the end of the day, everybody's going to be going right on back into their side of the map, but because there's no fan, because nobody is showing, nobody feels really comfortable at it, or to get any information, go any of the deep wards down. So, at the end of the day, very uneventful level 1.
All right. Who's going to coach more this time? Acadian? Shoes? Who's going to be the bigger voice here?
I feel like it's Acadian. I feel like Acadian was driving a lot of their plays yesterday. Right? Even though he wasn't able to finalize a lot of the kills, it definitely felt like it stemmed from the fact that his lanes weren't quite as strong. The only exception that being Choose, who got like a double kill on the Ahri relatively early on, jumped out to 3 kills, but he was still getting pushed around by Harry in the lane. So when that's happening, it makes it really difficult to play this jungle, because you ask yourself, well, I can't gank mid lane, I can't gank top lane, I can't gank bot lane, what do?
I'll just farm. Just stay there with my bananas in the jungle. Hope my team doesn't die.
Bananas. Hope not. We'll see. I mean, he's definitely a champion that has a bit more forcing power, right? He was playing Gwen and Lilia yesterday, and while Lilia has a fantastic ultimate, it's not necessarily the same kind of easy ganks where you just like run up, you land a slow, and hope that's enough. No, this time he's got a little bit of a dash. He can come in from a longer range with decoy. So we'll see what he can actually accomplish on this Wukong, because as I said, it's potentially the most powerful champion in the game.
And I love seeing it. I absolutely love seeing it. It being on Acadian, who has been a kind of teamfight facilitator in the past, especially during his pro time. It works well into his champion pool, it works well into his kit, but
Rosethorn.
What's working its way over towards his bot lane is going to be Rosethorn as he sees the fight going out. Level 2, already these bot lanes going at it. Breezy and Luger not continuing the chase. Rosethorn a little bit too late to catch that fight.
But that's the kind of thing we were looking for in the first round robin last time, right? He was always going for these early plays, going for imaginative paths. This time he goes Red Raptors Gromp into looking for a bottom gank. But because he shows, he's going to be a bit behind the curve. And Acadian also gets spotted out on a ward. So Luger and Breezy shouldn't really be at risk, but their wave is pushing out. Rosethorn will probably need to come back and make sure it crashes.
Okay, so the ward did spot out where Acadian was going there. Rosethorn is responding to it, and they're potentially going for a collapse right here, but inside track goes to Chime. Looping around the tri-bush. Not in too much danger is going to be Acadian. Ooh.
But,
Same can't be said for Chime, looking to go for the engage now. Acadian's forced to walk away from this one. Does have backup in the mid lane. Choose providing it there, has the gravitational field, so a lot of zone control to make it hard to chase down Acadian. Luger hops over the wall, jumps onto Chime. He is level 3, has that full rotation, the full combo. Acadian gonna meet his support in the respawn.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. 2 kills going over to Rosethorn. They are in such total control of the game out of nowhere, and that all comes down to Luger taking control of the okay, calm down, buddy. You're alone.
Not anymore. Here comes Rosethorn, setting up the dive, but a teleport is being used. It's all too easy when the health bar is that low. Good heal to boost up that movement speed, but Choose almost picking up a revenge kill. We'll just put on the field and chase out CLG.
God, what a tilting game to be a Golden Guardians player at this point. You don't want to lose in the 24-28 like they did yesterday. You need to be able to stand up, but Rosethorn now getting 3 kills. Again, the big part of this was the fact that Luger chunked out Array. Array was not comfortable walking up into the fight. Look, and they just leave so that the rest of CLG can collapse into a 4v2. And Array, he even goes back to the lane. He doesn't think there's anything left, and Luger's like, oh, well, I win a 1v1 against a support. Let's go ahead and take this. And everybody else just continues running forward, finding multiple kills, and because they're all there, they know everybody has to come out of base. There's even time for them to go down bot lane.
That was a sad walk for Choose. Complete wrong route to take, complete wrong direction. And
as a Victor player, I'm a big Victor player. Yep. I hate these early skirmishes, man. They are so tough unless they are so obviously winning. Your champion doesn't do a whole lot. You're not like an Azir who has the same kind of consistent damage. Your abilities are still on long cooldowns. Yes, you take really short fights well, but now he's in a 1v2.
Choose is having a bad day. He's having a very bad day. The gravitational field will not save him He has no flash. It's a kill for Luger as CLG pick up kill number 5 at minute 5.
Chime and Array, I don't even know what they can do at this point. Now that Lucian Nami is ahead, now that they have this huge wave that they're going to try and freeze, like, Array and Chime, they need to try and get this in, but Rosethorn is in the area, can potentially try and prevent that play from actually going through. Whenever I see somebody, it's Armeo. It's John Armeo looking for an opportunity to prevent it from happening. But at least Array and Chime get the wave under, so they are not going to be threatened to get frozen on over and over.
Yeah, push forward easily to try and make sure that Array and Chime are not going to fall behind. Because, as I've hyped up before, I really do like Array, especially during his time with UST, University of St. Thomas' CLAW squad. And, you know, speaking of CLAW squads, I do want to go on a side tangent right here. I got to hold that thought, though, because I believe Choose is going to be in a world of hurt as he gets pushed in with the Emperor's Divide into the gravitational field. He puts it up to try to stop Rosethorn, but Rosethorn has his number. One more dash will do it with the stun and an auto to finish it off.
Look, okay. At this point, I have to feel a little bit for Choose. I played a game recently. I was playing Victor. I started the game 0-6-0. But you know what? Won that game. Choose can do it too. I believe that there's a way for them to win off in the side lanes. You can, if I can do it against this Platinum Fizz who had killed me 6 times, you can do it against Triple. I believe in you.
Inspiring words, Yoshi. Inspiring words,
Yep.
indeed. This setup over here as the Dragon is going to be grabbed by Rosethorn. Thanks to that priority established by CLG on this bottom side. They're able to push in. Now they're trying to extend that as Rosethorn clears away this control ward. Looking for the potential to dive because look at Triple. He's marching out as well.
This is a 4v2. Look at where Acadian is. He can't participate. This should be 2 quick kills.
2 quick kills. Let's see if the response is there. There is no hostile takeover. Chime is just level 4. The payback. Is it enough?
Whoa.
Yes! Array grabs the kill and makes this a 1-for-1. Now Golden Guardians with the counter engage. The Orn Horn has been sounded and a shutdown has been picked up by Array.
Okay, Renata, we got the hostile takeover and the bailout working. They have another set of control, and Concept getting that kill gets them back into the game a little bit. 2 kills are picked up by Array, and that is the goal that they need. Now, it's still a situation where the rest of the map is suffering. Acadian down 1,200 gold at only 8 minutes. They're looking for ways to try and get back in, but with a 2,000 gold lead already going through, CLG still feel like they're in control. But this is the first step that they actually need. It comes with the fact that the fight or die comes through. Chime is there, and they aren't able to get the extra damage necessary. Array has enough time to stack up the spears, and giving these kills over to the Callista means that she's going to be in a fantastic position coming out of this fight. She's going to have the items necessary to potentially try and carry, and we were talking about how Array coming in, stepping in for big shoes for Violet and Stixxay, now needs to prove that he's worthy of the spot.
So Array, I was talking about a little bit earlier, was on the University of St. Thomas. It was going to lead to CLAW because CLG, I do want to bring this up, and you know, it's not as much about the players, but it is about North American development. We're willing to offer their computers to some of the CLAW players who are having some troubles over with the Riot facility. So CLG, I give them a lot of props for saving CLAW. I'm sure Array is happy to see his boys are still playing.
Yeah, definitely something you got to be careful of, right? There's a lot of opportunities to play from the collegiate side, and Array, it's got to be careful. Look at the damage.
Ooh, that's so much. And it really does combo so well with that Nami when you get the Tide Collar on. I mean, you talked about the slow before, but just that double up to apply those stacks.
Now as they push in, look at where Rosethorn is. Triple doesn't have oh, he has priority. Are we going to rinse and repeat the same play?
Yeah. But hopefully this time it actually is 2 quick kills.
Okay, okay.
Actually, last time it
they're just
technically
gonna be
was. It was a 1-for-1. Technically 2 quick kills.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair, that's fair. That is true. In fact, there were even more kills than that. 2 quick kills went over to Array. Colorcasters are never wrong, just maybe not right in the way we expect it to be.
Fair enough.
They're like
fair
wizards.
Enough. Yeah, and I'm just a monkey see, monkey do. Speaking of monkeys, I see a monkey in the bottom lane right now who's trying to set up a gank in the bot.
It's going. Okay. What do they want? What do you want, Chime? You're only level 5. But Array can throw you. You can be a Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon?
comes the calling out of Luger. Tries to engage, but the throw is only for the disengage to make sure that Chime's not gonna die. But look at this. Choose started getting bullied around, tries to chase away Triple. Gideon's still there.
But he is still there. Yeah, he's spending a lot of time. He did this yesterday.
Oh, good pickup by CLG Breezy. But Acadian has joined the fight. A nice flash out of Breezy. Avoids the Cyclone.
That's good stuff. Remember what we were saying, right? Breezy tends to be the one that's a little bit more lane focused than Chime is, and now they have so much control of this bottom lane. We knew that Luger was taking control. We knew that he was going to be winning a lot of these fights, but giving him this Lucian-Nami combination is absolutely destroying a lot of things. Array had the 2 kills. We said this is when he needs to be able to step up, when he needs to be able to control the actual lane, when you just give him a ton of money. But Luger gets to come back to the lane with a Gale Force now, and his support is still only level 5.
11 minutes in, finishing that Gale Force. And it's good. It is very good for CLG at this point. You have the gold allocated where you really need it to be. I mean, Triple's not getting that much. That's okay. He's farming all right and definitely outlaning Choose in the process. While all the kill gold has gone straight to Rosethorn and Luger. There's so many threats that are now arriving on CLG before the 14-minute point, before plates are even down.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things that I want to see from Rosethorn as well, now that he has like these 4 kills and has quickly become a main character, is he needs to be willing to go for aggressive plays, right? He needs to be willing to create things on the map for his team, and he feels... Yeah! You know, when you are this strong, you are able to get away with a lot of different things. But because your team doesn't have like a true front line except for Jenkins, you gotta be very strong.
It's not the easiest to dive right here. Ornhorn goes off. On the top side, you got 4 friends, more friends than you, Jenkins. A kill for Array. On the bottom side, however, Concept is realizing that CLG got some friends as well. Here comes the charge coming off from Shelly.
Too many friends.
Too many friends. Tower. One more auto does it. Tower goes down, and so does Concept.
And that's going to be a big win, right? So much money going over, but it is still Luger and Array dead on even in terms of the gold that they've currently picked up. And with the plates getting taken down up in the top side, I feel like Array might actually come out on top of this play at the end of it, unless Luger can get this entire turret, which is worth 2 kills again.
Good timing out of Choose to get out of that Emperor's Divide. Throws down his ultimate to return the damage, but there it is, Acadian just sneaking in the jungle, slips right behind Triple and takes him down. But you just called it right there, Joshi. Luger stayed into that bot lane and grabbed that second tower.
Yeah, that's 2 kills going over to Luger, effectively just picking up that structure. So he's going to be a little bit ahead, but oop, okay, Concept not actually going to find them, and Luger's going to be able to get away with that one. But we're starting to see this map become a little bit lopsided, right? You're seeing that Concept is now moving towards the bottom side and allowed that. It meant that Jenkins was all by himself up in the top lane, and as you get these 80 carries to move around the map, just trying to trade gold, as we start moving into this mid game, it means that there's the dual lane for CLG on the bottom side of the map as we start setting up for this dragon, and Array's nowhere to be found. This is going to be a second dragon going over to CLG, and these dragons are really impactful for this squad.
So late as Golden Guardians, it doesn't look like they're really prioritizing anything around these drakes. Instead, it's been a little bit more scrappy, a little bit more skirmishy for them. I haven't seen where Acadian's been too much. He's been trying to get those cyclones to work out.
Oh.
Hasn't been too good. Luger over the wall. Forces the flash right out of Chime. Man, Luger... We keep talking about hands. Luger's definitely got him. He's been absolutely spectacular. He's great to have as that sub position, because he's someone who kind of almost sped ran Academy when it came to it to get that PG Summer title.
Yeah, and I also really like that Luger, I mean, yesterday he was playing the Ezreal and the Jinx, which are, you know, not bad champions, but now he's got so much agency, he does whatever he wants.
Payback.
I mean, that doesn't save him, right?
Okay, it just delays it a little bit. Array still caught out nonetheless. Luger, a couple more autos should be able to finish this off. He still has full health, excuse me. Pops it off the tidal wave. Oh, that's sad. You can see Jaws' mouth coming right out of that tidal wave to take a bite out of it, and Choose falls to Luger in the process. It's just a complete cleanup coming here, but Acadian has something to say, and so does Concept as the call of the Forge God coming out. Oldhorn has been blown. Rosethorn goes down. Triple looking for Concept now as Acadian gets a Cyclone onto the members of CLG, goes after Breezy, drops the cane onto his head, tries to fake him out with the clone, but it's not going to happen. Hostile takeover going out, lands onto 2.
Oh!
Is it enough to take him down? It is not. You can't put on the friendly fire for long enough for Luger to fall.
Okay, can I give a quick shout out though to Luger? I know we weren't focusing on him because he wasn't actually hitting, but that's what he needed to do. As the AD carry, you're the little baby. You gotta run away because there's all these big strong Aatroxes and monkeys that want to kill you. And Luger waited. He did not come in range of everything that Golden Guardians could do. He protected his shutdown and he got the damage down anyway when it was safe to actually hit. The way that he's able to play this so intelligently, the way that he waited to use the cleanse in order to drop the exhaust when it was actually going to matter is so impactful. This is why this guy is so good, is because he thinks about the game over and over. If you take a look at this replay, you get to see exactly what happens when you give him so much control over what's going to be happening in the game, right? He just waits. He's just going to make sure that he can come through, and he doesn't cleanse the exhaust right away, right? Because he doesn't need to. He needs to make sure the exhaust is down when he's actually going to go in for his burst combo.
Luger, so good. Rewarded with so many kills. You were saying right there, he was protecting that shutdown, has pulled in his choose, gets triple in the process, but it's a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Choose is doing better than I did, right? I was 0-6, he's 1-5. That's a big upgrade. Okay. Alright, so... But now, remember, we keep talking about it. He's kind of our boy. We got a little bit of a bias. We love our Jenkins. It's now the mid game. This is when he starts having big opportunities to make these big fights happen, but it might not even matter, right? The top lane, I swear it's an impactful role, but right now, Luger and Breezy, they're 6-1-4, 3-1-8. They are waiting for all these minions to die so that array is as poor as possible, and I want to see how much damage he's actually able to do because he almost got his Serylda's completed.
That is 2K. That separates these marksmen right now. Luger with the strong lead over Array. It has been a pretty good performance. A couple of early kills that came out of Golden Guardians Academy. Now CLG are the ones that are controlling the rift off the back of plays like this. Luger just coming out of the bushes and sneaking away a kill. Now Acadian realizing that this jungle does not belong to him. It belongs to CLG. A full retreat out of GG.
Well, at least they have a victory. They can, like, wave clear a little bit, right? They can try and stall the game out for a while. They do have Ornn items eventually, which will come online. And oh, Luger!
A nice knock up and a collapse onto Luger. Array happy to grab that shutdown, but Rosethorn's going to take down Acadian. Here comes the Ornhorn, able to get one. Now Array still trying to run away from Rosethorn. Can't get caught out here. Jenkins over the wall will not choose to pursue. CLG going 2 for 2 with Golden Guardians.
Choose to pursue.
Okay, we're gonna die right now.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that was a pretty big mistake from Luger, right? Like, we gotta call it out. You gotta call a spade a spade. He was so good earlier in the game at not giving up any shutdowns. He was so good at making sure that nobody could actually hit him, but he is so confident. He ended up not respecting the amount of damage that could come through if Golden Guardians are able to get on top of him immediately. He had no flash, he just gets immediately knocked up, and Golden Guardians dogpile on him, and with their main source of damage gone, it's so much harder for the rest of Golden Guardian, for CLG to play out that fight. So good awareness from Golden Guardians. Even though he's super strong, he's not invincible. They're still looking for plays, and this is what I liked about watching them yesterday. They're playing up against Team Liquid. They weren't just collapsing across the map. They were still trying to make things happen when they were down 10,000 gold. Now they're in a similar position, and they still found out Luger. They're going to have to do that like 2 or 3 more times to get back in the game, but the fact that they're still trying in these kind of games gives us hope for how they will play when they have their full roster
Just
together.
so you know, you're not getting away with that pun, but we still got to watch this game, so you can slide off for now. This game does continue. The major point of contention now is going to be towards this Baron, so you're starting to see CLG culminate towards this area. They already took the Drake from earlier, putting them at Dragon Soul Point. You have a little bit of pressure coming out of Concept towards this bottom side. He does have teleport available, but so does Jenkins to meet this split push. Still, though, the Rift is belonging to CLG as they're the ones extending that forward vision to potentially set up that Baron for the future.
Yeah, and Concept's doing a good job this game, right? Making sure that he's not falling behind in levels. In fact, he's the highest level in the game, tied with Triple. And so, Ornn, every single time he builds one of those items, not only... Oh,
Here we go. Luger with the culling. Not going to find too much. Acadian is right there. You're looking for the hostile takeover, but Luger too fast. Noticed it. Runs out. Chime looking for more. Golden Guardians a little bit too afraid to pull the trigger right here. Only getting a little bit of poke in, but too wary thanks to this vision denial coming out from CLG.
yeah, they're looking to try and fight Luger and Breezy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they could win that 2v3.
Acadian's going in. He's on a control ward, though, and he gets collapsed on. Rosethorn and Luger follow through. There's the payback, but nothing has died. Only Acadian will fall. Jumping in is Triple. Trying to get onto Concept. Concept starting to run low. Doesn't even get to blow the back end of that Ornn Horn. Acadian, it's not too good here. Jenkins will cleave away and destroy the Golden Guardians. It's 3 down for absolutely nothing. Display of power from CLG.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like the fact that they're trying to do things. Unfortunately, the mistakes that they made earlier are now compounding upon themselves. We were looking at Array. He was doing a good job getting a bunch of kills. He was on the same number of items as Luger, but it doesn't matter when the rest of your map just doesn't have the gold to back it up. Choose is got, you know, he's got an item and parts compared to an entire item advantage going over to Triple. The fact that Luger is so powerful and still able to kite away from all these, and the fact that Acadian is trying to get these plays going, but gets caught out, is kind of like the problems that we saw from Golden Guardians yesterday, but it's still something that these can be fixed. You know you have opportunities to play later on in future games, and so the fact that they're still going for things, even though they're not working out, you know, I'm liking it, right? It's a learning week.
I think that's a fair way to put it. It's definitely a learning week with this new patch and the first week of Academy Summer. Look at this. Coming off the respawn is the newest member of CLG. It is CLG Shelly coming down the mid lane.
Yeah, let's see if they can get the... I don't remember what it's called, but there's an achievement that you get for dancing with Shelly. It would be a tough way to actually end, but they have the damage.
No, Shelly's turret diving. They took down Shelly, and they're looking to take down the rest of CLG. Hostile takeover goes in. Acadian with the Cyclone. 1 kill picked up so far. Looking for the double is Array, and now there goes the Ornn Horn. Doesn't really get much there, but they're able to lock down Breezy for the triple kill. Array able to get it, and a beautiful play coming out for Golden Guardians Academy.
They do the same thing. They catch out Luger again. Then this time they also catch out Triple. They get both of the big DPS members of CLG caught, and that's what you need to do. Now they do need to do that a couple more times. It's just gold and slowing down the Baron, which is progress. But just look at how close Luger comes. Doesn't respect the fact that Concept has this charge coming through, and all of this crowd control layering on top of it means that there's no way for CLG to do anything. But another fight's breaking out. Jenkins is in.
Yeah, Acadian and Jenkins really scrapping right now as the rest of Golden Guardians show up to make this uneven, make this unfair for poor Jenkins. They'll grab an objective bounty, and this is comeback potential showing right now, Joshi.
True, getting all that gold, they're still down 9,000 gold. They weren't able to get a whole lot on the map, so it is still a big advantage for CLG, but the morale boost that it has to be for Golden Guardians can do wonders for them. They get the mid lane turret, so they have a bit more opportunity to actually win the game if they get yet another miracle team fight. But CLG are the ones in control of the map when the actual dragon is spawning. They have the teleport coming through from Jenkins, and as long as Luger doesn't get caught again, they are in control for the fight.
CLG posturing over towards his Dragon Soul. 30 seconds until we get that team fight timer. And it's just been so good for them. You look at the ultimates that they have available, everything's on the board. There's a lot of flashes that are burnt that can be capitalized, but it really does go both ways. Considering the gold lead that CLG have been able to get. As a cohesive unit, they are strong. Rosethorn by himself, though, getting poked out as CLG just looking to establish a lot of control, a lot of agency over towards this side of the rift to set up that Drake, because this Dragon Soul, oh so valuable.
Oh, Jenkins finds Arcadian.
Oh, able to walk out. Call the Forge God going to be used. Pops the spell shield of Triple, who's looking to hop over the wall to get to safety. Now Jenkins swings down with this Aatrox. No one going down, but big engage tools now off the table for Golden Guardians. They still have the hostile takeover. Chime can still make a big impact here. No one willing to pull the trigger yet.
Yeah, and they're so far. They can't even get Acadian into the pit. This is going to be the Cloud Soul going over CLG. Well played from the side of CLG, and now they can see what they can push in. Acadian still needs to make plays. He has the Cyclone available, but again, they have so little money to actually do anything. It is all concentrated on Array. He needs to be the carry, but he needs people to set things up.
Ooh, and jumping right onto Concept, Luger with the marksman dive on the inhibitor tower takes him down, and now you're down one of your team fight engages, you're down your tank. You can't defend this inhibitor, too tough as CLG march forward.
Okay, Chime's got a little bit of setup, but Katie's got a little bit of setup. He went for some big flanks yesterday up against Team Licka, but not able to do the same thing this time.
Oh, he's kind of looking for it right here. He's waiting for the clump to come out from CLG. Chains pull Choose right back in. He's forced to burn his flash immediately. The payback goes
they
out.
got him.
Choose is back up. A kill picked up by Array. It's a 1-for-1 as a hostile takeover. Able to get some, but not enough. Jenkins gonna pop the World Ender to try and get that life still to take down Acadian. So much healing coming out with that Gore Drinker. Acadian falls, and CLG clean up the rest of the Golden Guardians to take this game number 1.
They got Luger again, but this time we finally have Azir in the late game. You have Jenkins there for the fight. They have the DPS necessary, and Concept has to try and defend this 1v4.
Yeah, good luck with that one, buddy. Nice knock-up. You got it onto Jenkins, but your Nexus towers are forfeit. CLG, it was a little bit of a hiccup here and there.
Oh?
And they're not going to go for the end right now. Yeah, they're just pulling out. Health bars are a little bit too low. If they don't get that Nexus tower and they don't get that Nexus, they just get cleaned up.
Yeah, Team Liquid would have tried there. They might have been wrong, but they would have tried, right? That's the kind of thing that we're currently seeing from CLG right now. They want to make sure they're only making the good plays, and that one was definitely on the borderline. Concept might have been able to find something, so they will back away and just play for the Baron, which they know they should be able to get. But that's the 3rd straight time that Golden Guardians have caught out Luger. They can do that again, and they can keep Array alive and make sure he's not getting hit by triple. They have ways into this fight. It's tough. It's really, really tough. But if they get control of the fight, if they can take care of both Luger and triple, they actually can win the game.
You're looking at Acadian right now. You're waiting for him to do that big defining team fight for Golden Guardians Academy. Can he be that leader? Can he provide that engage?
Can he do it now?
Overall. Here's the Cyclone. Lands onto Luger, going after Luger. Dash away coming out from Luger. Acadian has to back up Concept, starts to run low. Chime joining the fight. Hostile takeover, only landing on the 2. Not effective. But here is the rest of CLG. Triple on the flank, going after Acadian. There's the Emperor's Divide, goes onto Arcadian, and Jenkins jumping right in. The payback is not going to do a thing as CLG get their win and take down Golden Guardians Academy.
They refuse to make the same mistake 4 times in a row. They refuse to give up Luger. They refuse to give up triple. They know that they can win the fight if they just play it a little bit slower. They do that, and they find the first win for CLG in summer 2022 over Golden Guardians.
Now, we actually had more expectations for this not to be CLG's first win. I know me and you both voted that CLG were taking that game against Immortals. Immortals, of course, taking that 2-0, but this is what more we were expecting out of CLG in that day 1. It did show up in day 2.
Yeah, we saw Luger start to pop off, but there's still places where CLG can clean it up. That game went on a little bit longer than it perhaps needed to, but we saw how impactful they can be when you give them these dominant lanes. And so the Luger, the superstar of Academy, the superstar who's now playing for CLG LCS, he has the opportunities to carry this team and make sure that they have the best success that they possibly can looking towards the rest of the season. But it all starts here. They got another game that they got to play.
You know, they definitely do have one more they got to go through. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll have Sierra back with us because, man, this was a banger. We'll be right back.